everybody, welcome to my channel. I am going to be doing a video explaining a concept of how I believe that the entire universe is self-contained within this sort of metaphysical compressed tube, so to speak, a compressed tube. I don't know how else to put it. I'm going to be doing an illustration on paper as if it were a whiteboard, but I made some points to help myself explain as I go along. So, empty canvas, right? Let's start with some of the basics, okay? First off, space is a vacuum, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do, draw a big circle, and it's a vacuum, right? So all the pressure is going out. And just to make things simple, I'm going to draw a straight line across the page, and that is going to indicate our horizon. If you are just standing in an empty field or on the street or whatever, and you look out and there's the horizon, okay? So this is our perspective of the horizon. Okay. Light produces heat. Okay, so the first thing you think of is our sun, right? Sun is light, produces heat. When we're not in the sun, we get cold, right? Stars are a continuous explosion, okay? That makes sense, right? To the rest of us, right? Now, what's something interesting about pressure? We're in a vacuum of space. That is a reverse pressure, right? Now, what does pressure do? Pressure creates heat. If stars are a continuous explosion inside of the vacuum of space, that would be causing pressure, correct? There'd be pressure coming from here to here, which would be, in turn, at the very least, part of what is heating us up when the sun is shining on the earth. That would be because of something like Earth's atmosphere, which does not escape Earth because we are buoyant within the vacuum of space. We're suspended like a pocket of air inside of like your gel container. If you have like a tube of gel or something, you see like one of those big pockets of air. That's essentially the same thing as what's happening in space with Earth, right? So we're this suspended pocket of air, and the sun is a continuous explosion outward, right? So there's this variation of pressures fluctuating throughout Earth's atmosphere. Now, Earth's buoyancy inside of space is what drives our physical and neurological functions, as well as the air pressure of Earth's atmosphere. We are accustomed to that, right? So, when we are looking out on the horizon, in a way, we are below it, but we're looking at it head on, right? So, because we're behind it either way, and we need to get ahead to it, correct? But then to get above it, in a way, we are still going in the same direction if we were to just continue on, right? Where am I here? So when we exit Earth's atmosphere, we are interacting with points of light that we observe through the atmosphere of Earth. Okay, so here's our atmosphere, right? We see the sun, correct? We see other planets and stars. We notice that there's a rotation event that brings us back around to certain places at certain times. And so we can exit the atmosphere in like a spaceship. And it has to be a spaceship. Why? Because of the vacuum of space, right? We need a pressurized capsule to contain us in so that we can navigate amongst the stars with zero gravity. And that gets me to my next point, is that until you create or enter another atmosphere such as Earth's, due to zero gravity, our neurology is all that is realistically left. Our physical functions are all but debilitated due to zero gravity. It even causes physical side effects, and I would imagine there's even potential neurological side effects to space travel. In my opinion, this next note here is hence space travel is not unlike a hallucination, because we are out floating in a vacuum of zero gravity, grasping for straws at what we can reach next. And as far as we've gotten, we've reached a satellite to the sun, we've reached satellites to take pictures of other planets, and we've reached a space shuttle to the moon, right? All of that has been, in terms of human experience, under a containment of pressure. What would happen if you were to completely uncontain that pressure? You would have a series of completely negative events happening. And the thing is, that's where I say it's like a hallucination, because we are only interacting with what we see. When we go to space, we are only interacting with what we see. There's no information that the universe has really given us other than just like, okay, I rotate a lot. Like, there's a lot of rotation happening. Everything has an orbit around something in space. That's essentially all that we can tell, right? It's this constant circulation of orbiting objects in space. Whether or not there's even other life in space, we don't know. So to expand on that, perhaps, we are smaller than we can observe in comparison to the vastness of the universe. This makes our calculations inaccurate, like an ant trying to avoid you putting your finger in front of it, right? All of these factors combined, in my opinion, can only be contained in a compressed tube. How can there be a vacuum of space without there being something to create that vacuum? There needs to be something to create that vacuum. So realistically, this is supposed to be kind of our concept of the observable universe, right? This is supposed to be the horizon line. This is supposed to be Earth, where we reside, and this is what we see immediately beyond our Earth, right? So when we travel beyond that, there's only a finite threshold we can go in either direction before we breach what we do know for certain. Okay, so then you can look at the horizon line as sort of our literal point of perception. No matter where you are, you're in your bedroom, you're in your bathroom, you're at work, you're driving a car, you're having a dream, you're taking a bath, whatever. Like, anything that you're doing is based off of this perceptual horizon line. You are judging what you are looking at based on a central horizon, right? Now, to go beyond that horizon takes effort in either direction, in any direction. So realistically, to breach the horizon means that we are entering into this compression of events that is actually suspending us in what we call space. And when we enter into that compression, our internal functionality shuts off completely, and all that we're left with is our conscious experience. despite that we're physically doing things, we're physically doing things that we are unaware of in terms of the vastness of the universe. And this would, if you were to think about the human brain is just a chemical bath. Like we're some sort of like material, just like the brain is just some sort of material, like essentially like housing this entire chemical bath of events going on, like neurological activity, So when we are exposed to a situation where we are in direct contact with a vacuum pressure of space that is due to an insane amount of compression that we are actually harnessing to push ourselves up into it like a pocket, and we are actually creating the experience ourselves. So it's sort of metaphysical, right? But it's how I contemplate these things. And to me, it still accounts for the entire observable universe. It still accounts for gravity. It accounts for either round Earth or flat Earth theory. It still supports that there is an atmosphere to Earth, and it even supports the concept that like the universe is just this giant simulation, right? It's just a different type of simulation, right? Like you can simulate a SWAT team invasion into someone's home, right? And it's a physical simulation, right? You don't need to have it on a computer for it to be a simulation, right? So like it's a physical simulation, not like a digitally produced one, right? And so I'm going to wrap this up, but this would have looked like a bunch of garbage if I had drawn it out without explaining it as I went along. I hope it helped. But there's only so much I can truly explain about it. It's conceptual, but I like making videos like this, so I hope you enjoy it. Have a good rest of your time.